Welcome, everybody. I'm Valentyn. I'm a software engineer at Google and a committer and a PMC member in Apache Beam. And today I'm going to talk about profiling and specifically about memory profiling for Beam pipelines. Let's see what we're going to cover. So in this presentation, I'm going to cover what does it take to instrument your pipeline to run with a profiler. We'll talk about how to take your favorite profiler and attach it to the pipeline you're running. And since I don't know what your favorite profiler is, I'm going to talk about memory, which is a memory profiler that's pretty powerful, and I would recommend it. We will talk about a happy path, and we will discuss what it takes to customize the options that are available to tune the profiler to fit your use case. Why do we talk about profilers? I suspect most people don't want to spend too much time investigating memory pressure issues. If you were having a choice whether to be at the Beam Summit or to profile a pipeline, you would probably rather be at the Beam Summit. After all, you're here. If you must deal with profiling, you want to use the best tool available for that, because good tools make you feel good. They make you feel like a ninja. So let's talk about what it takes to add the tool that you like and use it to profile the pipelines. To give you an example, let's say if you are a data flow user, you may be able to get an insight into your pipeline's memory usage broken down by the worker. You might see a memory spike and you might see a worker that encounters that spike, but that doesn't give you enough insights into the code. What is exactly in your code that's creating that memory pressure? So when a solution is missing, as engineers, what we do, we go out and try to build it. How do we do that? We need to collect the information about memory allocation. We need to store it somewhere, we need to analyze it, and then we might get some insights. Let's start with the collection part. Below is a schema, on the slide is a schema that describes the runtime environment of a Python data processing pipeline using Apache Beam running on a runner. Since this is a Python pipeline, the data processing mostly happens inside the Python process, which might also launch some sub-processes. And this process typically runs in a container, and the container runs on some sort of compute, like a VM. So when the worker is started, first the container is started, then the container launches a boot entry point and launches the Python process. If you look closer into the logs, so this is an example of log stream from a data flow runner filters. And what we see there is a line that announces the launch of the boot entry point during the worker startup. There are some actions to prepare the environment, such as install your dependencies. And then there is a point where we launch the Python process. That the Python process, the SDK worker process, makes the connection to the runner and starts to receive work items over the control channel. Runs the SDK worker process with a profiler. We need to somehow attach the profiler to this process. And one of the common ways to do it is to start the profiler first and have the profiler launch the Python process that needs to be profiled. But how can we make this simpler? What we do is we introduce several pipeline options to simplify this. The pipeline option that allows you to specify the profiler agent, and this has nothing to do with agents. The agents in the sense of how we think about agents these days. So it's a tool that you want to use to do the profiler, and it can be a memory, it can be a different profiler. So one option that we introduce is something to specify the profilers that you want to use. The other option that we introduce is additional arguments that you want to pass to the profiler and possibly some additional environment variables that you want to pass to the profiler. And that allows you to transform the command that launches the SDK process into a new command where first you launch the profiler, you pass some arguments, pass some environment variables, and then you launch your SDK worker process. What do we do next? We need to store the data that the profiler will collect. Because the workers are transient, the profiler might store some data on the worker, and we need to analyze it later. There are two types of profilers. Some do store the data locally on the worker as they collect it. I call them standalone profilers. There are also continuous profilers that are designed to run constantly, possibly across many instances of the same worker, and they make it their responsibility to collect the data and store it in some backend, such as Parka or Pyroscope, or even the Google Cloud Profiler. So it sounds like using a continuous profiler would be an obvious choice here, but there is a problem. Continuous profilers, a lot of the profilers I mentioned, they don't support Python memory profiling. And there are outstanding feature requests, and they have been out there for many years. Well, however, there are some good standalone profilers, and one that stands out particularly is memory. Memory is a Python profiler developed by Bloomberg, and it profiles individual processes. We will have an option to enable it by specifying a new pipeline option, profiler agent memory. It collects the allocation that happened in your process and stores them locally. After that, you would need to post-process those allocations into human readable information like plain graphs. Memory can monitor the allocation that happened in the Python process itself, in the Python code, but it can also track allocation that happened in the extensions of Python code, in the native C++ extensions that your Python process might be using. And that's pretty handy if you use libraries, and many packages use extensions. There are also some other modes that memory has. One of them is the aggregate mode. In this case, memory does some aggregation on the fly for the allocation that it collects, which results in a smaller profiles, because if you just track every single allocation and save it into a file, the profiles can get pretty large. Sometimes it can be as big as a few gigabytes per hour of running the process. If you run memory in an allocation mode, it does some counting for you. But the catch is that the process needs to shut down gracefully. And that's not something that often happens in the data processing pipeline. The runner might decide that it's time for your worker to be shut down and tear down the whole VM. So using the aggregate mode is not as straightforward. To accommodate that, we introduce another pipeline option that allows you to stop profiling after a certain amount of time. This could also potentially help mitigate any undesirable side effect caused by the profiler. So you may choose to profile, let's say, for 10 minutes or for an hour, and after that, disengage the profiler, which would unfortunately have to terminate the process and restart some of the bundles that were in flight. But it's an option. So in short, memory creates profiles that need to be post-processed later. And there are a few additional modes that you can run memory with, and we are adding some pipeline options that allow you to enable those modes. To learn more, you can check out memory documentation. What do we do next? We need to store the profile somewhere, and the workers are transient. To help with the storage, we also introduced some pipeline options, and we added the logic to upload the profiles that are collected to GCS periodically in a background threads. You can customize how frequently you want to do it, or if not, we will pick some reasonable defaults. One requirement is, though, that you will need to have gcloud CLI on your workers, and that's something that we have in the standard Beam containers. If you use a custom container, you would have to install that on your own. But what do we do with all those binary files that memory saves for us? That's right, we need to post-process. And we need to use memory for that. How would we do post-processing? Well, the basic post-processing can be done on the same workers that have the processes that were profiled kind of on the side along with the pipeline that's currently running. And that's convenient because your pipeline runs, you collect the bulk profiles, you post-process, then your pipeline finishes. You might have some information about the memory allocations right after to investigate. So that's the on-the-worker post-processing. However, you can also do some offline post-processing later. So you'll have those binary files, and you could think of having a different Beam pipeline whose job would be to post-process the pipelines that were collected in some other pipeline or pipelines that ran previously. And that's also an option. But the basic post-processing that will create two flame graphs will be already available. If you do offline post-processing, one thing to know that post-processing needs to happen in the same environment where profiles were collected so that you have the same dependencies and the debug symbols that may be necessary to collect the stack traces and point them to the user code. The simplest way to do it would be to use the same SDK container that you use to run the pipeline and use the same SDK container in the environment where you do the post-processing. When we do post-processing on the fly, we create two flame graphs. One flame graph would visualize the peak heap allocation for the process, and another flame graph would visualize the leaks essentially the memory that was allocated but not deallocated over the lifetime of the process. And these are some of the flame graphs that memory can create for us. We just need to launch it. So what do we actually get after this profiling? Here is a view of what we might get in the specified profile location after the job finished running, or actually as it is running, because we create this data and upload it periodically. You upload the profiles to GCS, you would have a bucket, and if Beam can detect the job ID, for example, if you're using data flow, then the profiles will be grouped by the job ID and by the worker name in the GCS bucket and by the Python process. As you know, we might have more than one Python process running on the worker, so it will be the job ID, the worker name, Python process name, and the timestamp. And as you see, there would be a binary file and a couple of HTML files that you can view directly from, even from the code storage UI. If you don't know which worker to look at, or if you're investigating a particular isolated behavior that you have seen, you might first find what worker was booming or which worker had the high memory usage, and after that, go and find the profiles collected on that particular worker. What do we do with all that? Well, let's take a look at what the flame graphs might look like. This is a sample flame graph, which was created for an artificially crafted pipeline that had a memory leak. And here we see the allocations grouped by the line of code. What you do is you're trying to find the widest bar as low to the bottom as possible, and that's where you might see a smoking gun. You remember I mentioned the native mode. In the native mode, the profile might have the allocation that happen both in the Python code as well as in the C code. And this is what it might look like. So here the pipeline, again, a manufactured pipeline that uses an extension, and the leak happened in the extension, and you might be able to see that there was some leaky module CPP, line 10, and that's, we had the bulk of the allocations. So in this case, the flame graphs include both the Python code highlighted in green and the C++ or C code highlighted in yellow. So that's pretty much it. What did we cover so far? To instrument your pipeline to run with the profiler, you can use a new pipeline option, profiler agent. You can bring your own profiler if you want. You don't have to use memory, and you would still be able to launch it and pass some additional parameters to the profile through the pipeline option. You have either the command line options that are passed to the profilers or the variables. And there are some examples on the pull request description that's linked here. There will be a link to the slides shortly where you can find this. And if you want to use Beam with memory, what do you need for that? You need to wait for the next release that has the changes to the container entry points, the pipeline options. or you could even use the latest 90 snapshots of Beam if you don't want to wait. If you use the custom container, then you would have to install memory and gcloud CLI for uploading profiles. And this is what your custom container codes might look like. And where do we go from here? The next steps we are thinking for the work items on this front is to do some smarter insights analysis and a more polished user journeys on other runners. And there will be more documentation on how to use this. At this time, you can try it out, and yeah, let us know what works for you, which profilers you use, what configuration options work best for you, and any feedback is very welcome.